And I don't need to put a lower third, right?
Yeah, no lower thirds.
Okay. Tell Cameron to calm down in there.
Stevie said to calm down over there.
He was caressing his Tebow framed poster.
What up, Cameron? Oh. The beard looks good in this light. I should always have a light right in front of my face. Pops it out a little bit some.
You not do that.
Oh. I've done a show from this hotel before and it didn't have issues. I blame Amber. Devin produced that show and we didn't have an issue.
Yeah, well, Devin's leaving, so you're gonna have to get used to it.
That's probably a good thing. I didn't like him. He's not very friendly. He gone. I fired him. Cam sent me the email. I called him and told him we can't have him anymore.
Oh, okay. All right.
This slate sucks. What are we going to talk about for fucking 45 minutes?
It's me. Come on. We could
Yes. Good. Do this.
ad-lib for a long time.
All right. 45 minutes of ad-libbing. How bad this slate is.
Let's go ahead and do this thing. I'm going to leave, count to 3, and then start. Ready?
So we're counting to 3?
Yeah, because I'm leaving. So you're going to have to count to 3.
I got it.
Okay, bye.
All right, Roto Grinders, here we are. It's Saturday. Did you miss me? That's the real question. I haven't been on for 2 weeks now. It's been a while. Stevie, I heard you did a fine impersonation of me.
I did my best impressions. It's kind of hard to, beat EMac. Let me be honest with everybody. What EMac does behind the scenes is unreplaceable.
We'll see. Everyone can be replaced. But we don't have an exciting slate tonight. We don't even have an interesting slate tonight. The 4 o'clocks, 8 games at 4 o'clock. There was one at 3 today. This whole Fox MLB TV package, they used to take those 1 o'clock or those 4 o'clock games and just muddle up if you had DirecTV or the Dish or any of that stuff. You wouldn't be able to get it. Well, now they're taking a lot of the 7 o'clock games, so it's making for some wonky start times. We've already seen games start at 11 a.m., 12 a.m. instead of the normal 1 and 4 slates. It's all over the place. But we got half a dozen games to talk about, so we'll get in on that. How was your 4th of July there, Stevie? Did you blow anything up?
Come on, EMac. I'm a southern redneck guy. Do you think I blow stuff up on 4th of July? That's ridiculous. I think you sit and drink tea.
All right, that's the one day you take off so you can watch all the amateurs.
Yes. Oh, but actually, I went to this place by us that has a huge lake that they shoot fireworks off, and there's nothing better than to watch some of these people drink all day and then try to shoot fireworks off. It's great.
Oh, I used to be into all the bottle rockets, and holding them and letting them go, and I don't do that anymore. That's what happens when you get old. But I don't have anything to follow up with that. We're going to do a new segment today, Stevie.
Sweet.
It's called If You're Not First, You're Fourth.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good one, and I know where you're going with this. And I had a proper congratulations for you. Don't worry.
All right. Well, just to let everybody know, Stevie and I were playing not on our sponsor, DraftKings. I did play there last night more than anywhere else, and I did quite nicely. But I won a few tickets in on Fantasy Feud into their Friday night queue, their 109, and I got first. And guess who got fourth? That'd be one StevieTPFL. Now, I know you guys are used to seeing hosts like Boggs. No, Boggs didn't qualify. Who qualified? Peter, CSU Rams, Peter Christensen, who's draft sheet. STL Cards takes 2 weeks off, comes back and gets 2 qualifiers. Shouldn't I took a week off. Shouldn't I win a qualifier now? What's this all about, Stevie? Help me out here. And how come you weren't there? You were ahead of me most of the night. I went to bed and I was in 7th. I woke up and I was in 1st. It was great.
Yeah, Matt Holliday put me in 1st there for a little while. Hit a late home run in that game, and I went Dan Heron in that tournament. He was like 70K, and they have a $1 million salary, and I thought Dan Herron at 70K. The pitching really doesn't matter too much on that site to me, but I thought Herron would be safe for a win, and I sat second most of the night after you had passed me with your team, and after the negative 1 point for Herron's loss, I dropped down to fourth. So it was almost a 1-2 finish for us, but yeah, I was happy with my run. I had won that seat for I think out of a $27 qualifier, so you turned 27 into 550, and I had a pretty big night across the industry last night. I had one of my best nights of the season, so I'm not complaining at all.
All right, there you go. Well, let's see what we can do about tonight with our half dozen games. I'm just scanning to see if there's anything exciting going on. Looks like there's some offense going on here this morning. I wrote almost 2,000 words for my my expert picks today. I should not be allowed to take a week off because I lost track of time and ended up writing for about an hour longer than I normally do. But it was fun. I'm refreshed. I'm totally into it. And I was trying to come up with some bats that weren't Colorado bats, and I think I landed on a few. Those games have already started, so we'll ignore those for the time being. But let's talk about pitchers. My initial read on this whole thing is there are a lot of decent pitchers going, but they're all facing each other. So we're going to be in trouble trying to figure out who's going to get the win on which sides. But the ones I like the most are I like Chavez, Iwakuma, who are both facing each other, and then I like Strasburg and Hamels, who are also facing each other. Bit of a problem there. But on a multi-pitcher site like DraftKings, you can take them both, kind of box your way into a win, hopefully, or watch a reliever get it. Or you can try to go for 2 wins and pick one pitcher in each of those games. Those are the guys I'm looking at. Chavez I like. He's slumped a little bit. He's been back. Seattle's the second lowest scoring team at home. They're not great. They score 3.4 runs per game. They have just above 300 WOBA against righties, so they're not great. The downside on Chavez is he's going against Iwakuma, so run support for him could be tough to come by. And then vice versa. For Iwakuma, may not have the run support, but he's also facing the Oakland Bats, who have been pretty good, although he's held them in check for the most part. And then Strasburg and Hamels, I don't seem to get Strasburg correct. I stay off him. He does well. I load up on him. He does poorly. It's been demonstrated time and time again that he pitches much better at home than on the road. He's in Philly. It's a tighter bandbox, but Philly is one of the lower scoring teams out there. On the flip side, he's going against Hamels, who's a pretty good pitcher. So we've got 4 decent pitchers. I can't point towards who I think will get the win, but I'm kind of mixing and matching those guys. On single-pitcher sites, I'm focusing more on Chavez because he's a little cheaper, but on multi-pitcher sites, I'm sprinkling in all 4 of those guys. What do you think about those 4, and who do you like from the other games?
All right, yeah, Strasburg, Hamels, great matchup. 2 of the best pitchers out there. Strikeout-wise, both these guys have unlimited upside with their strikeouts. If I had to pick one of the 2, I'd probably go Strasburg. Yeah, he struggles on the road, but on the flip side of that, Hamels actually pitches better on the road, so he's at home. If you think about Philly's bats, you think about the left-handed power guys. Well, Strasburg has reverse splits. He's better against lefties than he is righties, so I think he has a plus matchup. If I'm going to spend up, I'm going to take one of those 2 guys. I'm going to go Strasburg. He's probably one of my safest guys for cash games today because I think he does have good upside with his strikeouts. The win, not as important on DraftKings. Yes, it gives you extra points, so of course you always want the win. But upside-wise, matchup-wise, I'm going Strasburg. Washington, they hit lefties pretty good, and he's Cole Hamels. He's one of the best pitchers in the league, but you still give me Jason Worth, Anthony Rendon, and you got some lefty mashers on that team. And you think about Philly, and you think about Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, but like I said, Strasburg reverse splits better against lefties than he is righties. So I'm going Strasburg out of those 2. Chavez, and I think I'm going Chavez in that one, but I don't hate going Chavez, Strasburg in one, Hamels, Iwakuma in the other. Maybe splitting your entries with those 2 guys. Chavez, pitches better at home, but this is a pitcher's ballpark, so no real, discount there. But Oakland has a better offense than Seattle, so I'd lean more Chavez because I think he's going to get more run support. And Oakland hit Felix Hernandez last night, so Oakland can hit just about anybody. And if you don't believe in Steven Vogt by now, then you need to start believing. So, other pitchers in other games, really not leaning towards really anybody else. For maybe Mike Leake, because I think he has upside, and at his price point at 8,300, he's in a pretty good spot. His strikeout K-9 is pretty down, but I don't hate it at all. So those are my 5 guys, because I'm using probably 4 of those in a lot of my matchups, and I'm not using too much at Ikwuma, but I'm using those other 4 guys. I would probably stay away from pitchers in the Detroit-Kansas City game and the San Diego-LA game. I don't think those pitchers are going to do anything for you, and definitely stay away from the Texas pitcher, and probably going to stay away from Weaver. So I'm pretty much playing the fade on those 6 guys and using the other 5 guys.
All right, well, let's see if I can sway you on Iwakuma. Did you know that it is his bobblehead night tonight?
Yeah, it doesn't sway me.
Oh.
Oakland's bats are just hot, and they're probably one of the best offenses, one of the most underrated teams in the league, and going to be loading up on some Oakland bats tonight. In this small slate, I love tournament play in these small slates because you can really go off the board, and if it hits, you can really have a big night.
Yeah, I think although it seems kind of off the board, I think people are going to kind of land where we are also in focusing on these pitchers and then taking the bats in the other games. There's still plenty of choices out there from that standpoint, but the stacks are going to be, I think you want to look like at a national stack or something like that to differentiate yourself, because everybody's going to be on the Anaheim bats. But we will get to those guys shortly. What do you think about Ian Kennedy? Here he is cruising on into Chavez Ravine. He had no problem in Coors Field in his last start. Helped me win a GPP, so I enjoyed that. You're off him. The LA bats have been a little cold lately, and they've got who is it? Paul Maholm on the mound tonight, so he could get lit up. Well, then again, it is the Padres. But what do you think about Ian Kennedy? You're just saying, nah, I don't need it?
His price point for me at 8,500, Chavez $300 cheaper. I'd rather go Chavez, but if you want me to try to sell somebody on Ian Kennedy, I can try to. I'm not really loving him. He should get run support. It's so tough to say with San Diego's bats. They have been horrible all year, but they probably have one of the best matchups of the night. But Ian Kennedy, he's actually pitched better on the road than pitching at Petco, which is kind of crazy. And I just don't like taking pitchers against offenses like the Dodgers. They probably have one of the most dangerous offenses in the league. And any night of the week, they can go out and score 8 runs. So it's kind of scary for me, but I don't hate him for a tournament play because I don't think a lot of people are going to be on him. So he makes for a good tournament play.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. He has, I think he has about 10 quality starts. In those starts, I think he has 4 or 5 of those outings. He's had 9 or more strikeouts. So he's sneaky. He's just not getting a lot of wins because of the offense behind him. So those are kind of the guys I'm looking at for pitching. We got time to catch up, chat. Don't worry. I know we're 24 minutes in, but Stevie, staying in the flop house that he is, didn't pay for the internet, so he's trying to sneak it off some old lady in the room next to him. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I got one more pitcher for you, and this is completely a tournament play, and it really is just because of what he's done this year on getting people to ground the ball out. But Charlie Morton stands out to me because he's such a ground ball pitcher. He has the lowest home run per 9 going today. It's under 0.50, so he's giving up less than 1 home run a game. So I think if you're wanting a tournament play, if you're wanting somebody that could go out and throw 7 innings and maybe give up 1 run and not get beat up too bad by the long ball, Charlie Morton, under the radar, play of the day.
Yeah, I actually like that also, especially when you consider Brandon Phillips going on the DL yesterday, joining Joey Votto, who went on a few days ago. We saw how that offense struggled when Votto was on the DL earlier this season. Looking at their lineup, now that was when Billy Hamilton was not hitting well. Billy Hamilton, I wish we had STL cards in the chat. Did you see that bunt, diving, swim move, somehow getting to first, evading the tag, staying in the baseline, etc.? Oh my God, he's come a long way from those karate chop bats he was doing earlier in the season. But he's a little dynamic. He's a little spendy on a lot of sites, but he's there. Santiago's batting second, not really scared of him. Frazier has, I don't think he's got like 13 or 14 home runs against same-handed pitching, although Morton counters that because he's a ground ball pitcher. And then we got Bruce batting fourth, Mesoraco batting fifth, Ludwig, and then Pena, Cozart, etc. So it's not a bad offense, but I mean, come on, Brandon Phillips and Votto are kind of the heart and soul of that offense. So I like your call of Morton. I definitely think that is not a bad second pitcher, or even if you're on FanDuel or something like that, you can just zig when everybody's zagging and see if you can move up the charts. Let's go to catchers. I've got one catcher tonight and one catcher only. That is Devin Mesoraco. That's it. I was hoping he'd be in the lineups. He is. He is on every team that I've made so far. Is there anyone else I should be looking at?
No, I just got done saying Charlie Morton, not a big, home run guy, and you're on Mesoraco. That's interesting. I don't hate Mesoraco. I think he makes for a fine tournament play because of his home run upside. I'm looking at two guys. I'm looking at Wilson Ramos, and I can't pull up the lineup. So if one of these guys is out, chat can tell me. I'm afraid to click anything on my computer with this internet issue I'm having. So, but Ramos, and like I said, I believe in Stephen Vogt. I'm going to continue to play this guy. He continues to do it night in and night out, and he moved up to the second spot yesterday. And at 3K on DraftKings is just almost an autoplay for me right now.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I hadn't realized he was batting second. I'm still all in on Mesoraco. I do this occasionally. It's worked out in the past and it's failed miserably, but I just have a Mesoraco feeling tonight. So he isn't dramatically overpriced. Now I haven't made a ton of DraftKings teams, just to be fair, but I've made my lineups on Draft Day, Fantasy Feud, FanDuel, and I started on DraftKings and I put him on all my teams so far. So we'll see. Maybe I should look at Vogt at 3 on our sponsor DraftKings. That's probably a good idea. So thank you, Stevie. See, look, you're adding value already.
Boom.
Hopefully you're nice to the desk clerk that got your internet working for you there. Is there anybody else that you would put out there? Would you consider JSO, or are you gonna take the discounts on your namesake, Steven?
Well, if Jason's in the lineup, so they lose the DH going to Seattle. So right?
JSO is in the lineup, and okay, Seattle is an American League.
American League. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that, but long day. Anyway, somebody in chat just made me laugh. All right, but JSO in the lineup. Where is JSO and where is Vogt batting?
JSO is batting leadoff. Vogt is batting second.
Yeah, why not? You could actually roll both of those guys out. You could play JSO at catcher and Vogt in the outfield. I don't hate it. Ikwuma, you like him, and I don't hate him, but he does have a home run 9 over 1.0, so he's given up a home run per 9 innings this season, and I don't hate the Oakland bats tonight. I've already said that, but yeah, JSO's in play for me, and if you're looking for somebody that's kind of sneaky, Alex Avila stands out to me. James Shields really struggling against lefties this year with a 350 weighted on base, and Shields doesn't look like the Shields we saw 3 or 4 years ago, so I don't mind the Detroit bats tonight. I think they're one of the sneakiest snacks on the board tonight, and I like the lefty, and he's pretty much the only lefty Detroit has in the lineup right now.
All right, one last one. If you're going to punt, can I just say, sweet Jesus? That's right, Jesus Sucre. I'm assuming that translates into sweetness or sugar or something. I know sugar is azúcar or something like that. My pronunciation's terrible, but I do know a little Spanish here and there. Batting ninth, 2K, not a bad play. Just had to throw that out there. Plus, you can say, sweet Jesus, I think. We'll see. All right.
Never a dull moment at EMac. Never a dull moment. That's why irreplaceable.
Yeah, there can't, because I'm on like my 10th soda today.
I
opened up a 12-pack yesterday afternoon, and I just poured the last one into my glass before the show. So, woohoo! Good times.
I'm drinkless. I don't have anything to drink. That's driving me crazy already.
Oh, very sad. Very sad. All right, chat's also getting on you. It's Iwakuma.
I don't care.
All right.
He pitched the other day when I did a show, and I don't care. I can't pronounce his name. I've tried a million times. I'm just rolling with it. Deal with it.
All right. last year, the ESPN Fantasy Focus podcast guys nicknamed him the Flying Salmon. Which has nothing to do with nothing. Well, because if you go to Seattle, they go to Pike's Place Market and they show them throwing the salmon before sporting events. It's a tourist trap thingy, but they call him the Flying Salmon. So there you go. Just remember that. You can be on the cutting edge. And it's his bobblehead night. I got to say that one more time. I believe in bobbleheads more in basketball than I do football. So
yeah, I'm right there with you.
Anywho, all righty. First base. We got to get some heavy lumber in here. I'm calling up the lineups. I'm really looking at two players. Okay. CJ Cron and Albert Pujols. I'm paying for outfield tonight, so I'm saving my bullets. So I'm looking at those two guys. Miles Mikolas was awful in his last start. I don't think it's going to get any better against the red hot. Is soda a euphemism? No, it's not. Sorry, that caught my eye there. No, it's not. It's caffeine. Caffeine is good.
That's all you need. Caffeine. Yes.
I'm good. I'm good with that. Anyway, CJ Cron, Albert Pujols. I think they're in very, very good spot this evening. The other guy I'm going to drop down. I haven't seen if he is in the lineup. Let's look real quick. But it's going to be one Ike Davis, and he is not in the lineup. So it looks like I am going to go with. And Cron not in the lineup either, so I am going with Pujols tonight. I got some lineups to change, and I may need another choice here, Stevie. So I'm gonna see who's actually in the starting lineup. I want to hear about your first baseman, and I'll have to look quickly at some of these guys that I didn't do a full write-up on, but I do have some numbers for them here. So.
All right, yeah. Pujols, my number one guy today. If you can fit Pujols in, I would highly recommend it. Don't hate Miguel Cabrera as well. So either one of those guys, if you're gonna pay up. Brandon Moss stands out to me, but honestly, I'm looking at two cheap guys, to be honest with you, and I agree with you. I'm paying outfield today. I'm paying up for Calhoun, Trout, and Hamilton just as much as I can, so I'm be loading up on those guys. But first base, there's two guys. Billy Butler stands out to me, big country. He can definitely go 0 for 3, 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, or 1 for 4 with a home run. So don't hate Billy Butler, especially in DraftKings where you don't lose points for strikeouts. Porcello definitely giving up home runs to righties this year. He's given up more home runs to righties than lefties, and it's almost double to righties to lefties. So I think Billy Butler could be a very under-owned guy. I said that I'm going to be. These are one of my slates. I like these slates. I like looking for guys that nobody's going to be on, and I love pounding as many tournaments as I can. So I'm on him, and I'm probably going to mess this guy's name up, and I don't know if he's going to be in the lineup or not. But Tommy Medica, is that how you say it?
I don't.
For San Diego? Well, that's what we're going to roll with. So I think he's in play as well. He showed some power at Coors Field. Not great hitters ballpark out in L.A., but he does have a great matchup against Paul Maholm. And I'm going to be playing a couple of these San Diego bats tonight, and he's one of them, especially at 3,400 on DraftKings.
All right. I have now looked, and sadly I'm leaning towards where eligible. Darn it, it's looking like Frazier. I think I don't want two righty bats against Morton. So my other one, if I'm not going with Pujols, I'm going to look at Logan Morrison. He is one of Boggs Light's favorite players of all time. So I have to just throw that out there, and I may have to pick him tonight. Maybe Ryan Howard. That's going to be price dependent. I know he is going against Strasburg, but Strasburg, he's going to end up throwing some fastballs. And if Howard's just going to sit there and wait for it, he may have a chance. That's going to be boom or bust. So for me, it looks like I am going with Pujols, potentially Gabby Sanchez, if I paint myself into a corner and need somebody really cheap in that standpoint. But it looks to me like I'm down to Pujols.
Yeah, Pujols is, like I said, if you're gonna pay up, I'd go Pujols. And if you wanting to save at first base, I like Billy Butler and Tommy Medica. But those guys can complete GPP plays for me. If I'm playing cash games, which I'm not playing a lot of cash games tonight, I just don't think this slate is great for cash games. But if you are playing cash games, I think it's clear cut. Get Pujols in your lineup.
All right, second base, the keystone position. to hear what you got. I know who I wrote up. I don't. They're all good. They're all pricey. They're all good. I don't think you can go wrong with Cano, but he's in a tougher matchup. I think Rendon is good, but he's in a tougher matchup. I think Kinsler's good. He's in a tougher matchup. And you got Utley, who's in a tougher matchup. So there's your big money guys. D. Gordon's the other guy I'm looking at. On a couple sites, there's this guy, I think his name is Connor. He's 2K on DraftKings. He is for the San Diego Padres. He is eligible at second and third. I think he is a okay punt play if you're going bare minimum. If you're going to go spendy, I don't think you can go wrong with any of those four guys I mentioned. You're just not going to get that dollar for dollar value. They're all good. They're the best choices this evening. I don't know which one's going to have a really good game. So I have a hard time recommending that because I'm doing a lot of cash games tonight, even though the slate was not the most optimal for it. So I'm thinking cash game wise.
That's why they put us on these shows. You know, you're more of a cash game guy, more of a tournament player, so it's perfect for people watching the show. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter. I know EMac does, but I was texting somebody today, and I meant to type reminder, and my iPhone put in Rendong instead of reminder. So that's when you know you talk about fantasy way too much. And so I think that made up my mind for me. Anthony Rendon, I'm playing him tonight. I like Cole Hamels, don't get me wrong, but Rendon has been so good against lefties this year. And like I said, lean in tournaments tonight, and I would rather play Rendon over Cano tonight for tournament play. I think a lot of people are going to be on Cano tonight. You know, good reason that he's going to be on Cano. But Rendon, if it's not Rendon for me, I'm looking towards, because DraftKings is so, lineup friendly, Kyle Seager and Neil Walker are my other two guys that I like at second base.
Yeah, definitely. I like shifting Seager over to second base. It's a nice feature. I think he will lose that next season because he hasn't played second base since last year. But he played more second base than third base at various points in his career. I was hoping Howie Kendrick would be a little cheaper just to load up in on that Texas game. You're not going to find a lot of cheap guys out there for Anaheim. I want to see. There is that. I can't remember his name. He's not in the lineup. There's some guy who's on some sites he's shortstop, on some sites he's an outfielder. I'm forgetting his name, Jake something or other for Anaheim. He's not in the lineup, but I was hoping for some salary relief there. Darn it, boy, I'm painting myself into a corner. Maybe I better roll back some of my.
No more soda. No soda for you.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry. Back on track. Those are the kind of the guys I'm looking at. I don't have one consistent player at second base. I'm just kind of going with whatever I feel like on each of my teams. So I don't think these are bad choices. There's just not a Dozier or a Pedroia or a Kipnis like there were in the early slates where your choices were. So you had multiple great choices and they were all relatively good prices. Tonight they're okay choices, but they're spendy. How about third base? My number one third baseman today is Chris Johnson. I have a feeling, Steve, he's going to hit some home runs today.
Chris Johnson.
Oh, he already played? What? Double dong? Okay, there we go.
You had me completely stumped there for a second. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, you said you didn't have your computer up, so I was just going to take some liberties there, but that's all right. So that's amusement for me. I'm sure chat's going, yeah, Grady, Matt. You're just annoying us. Third base, I think Pedro Alvarez. He's kind of hit most of my teams.
Yeah, and Alvarez is usually not a great cash game play, but on a night like tonight, you throw in some of these guys with upside. He could go for 4. Don't get me wrong. He's huge double dong potential. Just about any time he faces a righty, he gets a great ballpark matchup. And Leak, he's been pitching better. Don't get me wrong, but Leak, his home run to 9 rate against lefties is over 1.0, so he's given up home runs. And I like Alvarez. He's made a lot of my tournament teams tonight. And if I'm not playing Alvarez, I'm on Chase Headley. I'm on some of these San Diego bats. Paul Mahone, just one of the worst pitchers on the board tonight. So I don't hate either one of those guys. That's where I'm leaning. Those two guys just about in all my lineups tonight, where you can play Kyle Seager at second base.
Yep. Other options, Frazier. again, now that I have Mesoraco on all my teams, I'm not going to double dip with both of them. But if I don't have a problem taking one player at a couple different positions against Morton. Just don't go hog wild on that. Ryan Zimmerman, also sneaky guy. He hits lefties well. I don't have a problem with him. And then, as always, Adrian Beltre. I don't believe in Weaver anymore. Weaver hasn't been good since, what was his magical year, like 2007, kind of back when Jake Peavy was winning Cy Youngs. So yeah. He's reputation only, and I could see that being some fireworks from the Texas bats tonight, kind of balancing out the shellacking they got the other evening. So lots of choices at third base, which is interesting. I mean, again, no one real standout. I'm going mostly with Alvarez because why not? He's cheap. He's in a home run spot, and even on cash games, like Stevie said, on the way the slate has lined up this evening, I have no problem putting him out there. Because again, I'm paying up for my outfielders. Anyone else at the old hot corner here that you want to touch on, or would you like to lead off at shortstop?
No, and just a quick note on Beltre. Definitely don't hate him tonight. And Weaver, he's been good against righties this year, but he is giving up a ton of home runs, and he's coming off of an injury and struggles big time on the road. His road ERA is almost 2 points higher than his home ERA, so definitely something to look at. I think that game is definitely going to be the highest scoring game of the night. So with that said, Eric Ibar, any love? I think he's probably one of the top shortstops for me tonight.
The two guys that I've picked at shortstop are Ibar and Andrus, just because I think that game's going to be high scoring. And there's no one that really jumped out for me. I mean, I wrote up today, I took Tulo on almost every team today in the early slates and the all-day slates, and where I didn't, I took Jahani Peralta, who has a home run today, so yay for me. But
home run yesterday, too. I loved him yesterday. I wrote him up yesterday, and he hit a home run. Yeah,
so I'm definitely just trying to get some people in that Anaheim Texas game. So those are the two guys I'm looking at.
All right, I'm gonna totally butcher this guy's name too because I'm on a roll with that. And he's 3,200 shortstop eligible on DraftKings, and his name's Jake Smolinski. I don't even know.
Yeah. That was the guy I was thinking. Was that the guy? Maybe it's Texas.
Well, it's Texas, and if you pull up his last 10 game log, 3 hits, 2 hits in his last 3 games, or I think that in his last 3 games, and he's 3,200 in a high-scoring game. Don't know where he's batting. Like I said, I'm afraid to pull up the lineups page or even change anything on my computer right now. But I think he's definitely.
He is batting 6th. He's batting 6th, Stevie.
Yeah, that doesn't scare me at all. 3,200 batting 6th and the highest over/under of the day. In play for me if you don't want to pay up for. Yeah, I'm with you on Elvis Andrus, or Ibar. I think those are my 3 guys today. Don't like the shortstop position too much tonight, so I'm not going to be really bouncing around too much with it. So loving those 3 guys.
Yeah, and that was the guy I couldn't remember. Thought he played for Anaheim. Sorry, guys. He actually does play for Texas. He had a 3-hit game the other day against Anaheim. I just couldn't read my own notes, but he is outfield on FanDuel. He is shortstop eligible on our sponsor, DraftKings. So that is not a bad way. And then just kind of circle back, I did find my guy, Brooks Conrad. I haven't seen that lineup announced yet, but he is the 2K guy for San Diego that is a switch hitter, and he's available at second base or third base.
Old Tampa Rays player.
Is he really? Well, I saw his parents interviewed for a game, in his first game a couple nights ago when he made his return to the minors. So that's why I knew about him. I don't know if he's that good. He doesn't. I tried to look up his stats. They're not great when he's been up in the majors, but he is a switch hitter, and he's had several cups of coffee. So if you have better insight, please let us know.
No, I just know he played for the Rays like 2 seasons ago, I think is what it was. And I'd switch hitter, and he's super cheap. I've played him a couple times. I played him when he hit a home run the other night. I loved it. It was great. So, and somebody just mentioned in chat that Similaski, or however you say it, got hit last night. He did leave the game after he got hit. But if he's in the lineup tonight, I don't think there's too much to worry about. Usually they're very precautious with those kind of things.
All right, let's see. We got about 15 minutes left. Let's do outfield. I've got a pick 5 and a rapid fire max called up, and then I think we can call her a show here, Stevie. So on outfield, I kind of have my groupings again. I really like doing this now. I have picked some high dollar players, which is why I am punting a lot of the other positions today. So the guys that I'm really on are Yasiel Puig and Matt Kemp going against Ian Kennedy. I don't have a problem with those guys at all. They can do it via the long ball. They can do it via doubles in the gap. I like those guys. Andrew McCutchen, Josh Harrison, and Gregory Polanco. I haven't fully looked at that lineup. I believe they are all in. Harrison is not. So I do have McCutchen and Polanco on a lot of my teams. Polanco, where you can get the discount. McCutchen, I think, is just a fantastic player. I like both those guys. Going against Mike Leake, and then I have Mike Trout. Just play him. We don't have to talk about him. Cole Calhoun. On several of the sites, I've been finding myself going to McCutchen or even all the way up to Trout just because I feel Calhoun is a little too high priced, but he has been an absolute beast recently. And then my other two guys are Jay Bruce and Billy Hamilton. So these are all high-priced players. I know that, but that's why I'm going lower at the other positions from that standpoint. How are you going to play the outfield tonight? Because if you'll notice, I'm avoiding players that are going against the four pitchers I like. So that kind of limits the choices I'm going for on my my outfield options.
Yeah. Trout, definitely number one overall play. If you can fit him in, do the best you can to fit him in. And I love that you brought up how high priced Calhoun is. And like I've said throughout the show, I'm playing a lot of tournaments tonight, and I hope a lot of people do what you said and fade him at his price because I'm all over this guy today. He's just absolutely smashing righties this season. Definitely in the best matchup. Him and Josh Hamilton, very close to Trout. I have lineups with all three of those guys in it. I'm going to be all over these Angels bats. And you brought up a great point. I absolutely love Polanco tonight. 4,000 on DraftKings, very priced, very reasonable. No reason not to play him at that price. Like I said, Leak tends to give up the long ball and tends to give it up to lefties. So Alvarez and Polanco, great tournament plays in my eyes. McCutchen, I'm not as much on him. I do have him in a couple of my tournament lineups, but. And back to your Dodgers, definitely in play for me tonight. Think they're going to be really under-owned. And Ian Kennedy, when he has struggled this year, it's been against righties. His WOBA is about 50 points higher against righties, so he has those reverse splits working for you. I like the Dodgers righties tonight. I think, like I said, they're going to be very under-owned. And just another quick point, that Tommy Medica guy that I've already mentioned, at first base, he's outfield eligible, and like I said, at 3,400, if he's batting in the 4 through 6 hole, I don't mind it. So, and looking at just about everything else, and going down here to see if I can find some value plays real fast. And,
I'll throw a couple out here since I can get the lineups, and we'll see. Check your thoughts out. What about any of the lefties for the Mariners? We've got Andy Chavez leading off, and then James Jones going second, and then Dustin Ackley is batting seventh. Ackley's pretty cheap on a lot of sides. He's been scuffling a little bit lately, but the Mariners are going with 8 left-handers. Or 7 left-handers in their lineup. But what do you think about Chavez and Jones leading off for some salary relief? I kind of can only do that if you're not on Chavez, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they make for good plays. I don't know. It's tough for me because I'm on these guys, these LA guys so much. But I think if I had to pick out of the two, I'd go James Jones because I think he gives you pretty good upside for hitting doubles, gives you stolen base upside. Not that Chavez doesn't give you stolen base upside. But I think James Jones, if I had to take one of those two guys, if I'm taking any lefty for Seattle tonight, it's probably going to be James Jones. But I'm really on Chavez tonight. I don't really like too many of these Seattle bats. But if I had to pick one of the two, I'd probably go Jones. But on DraftKings, it's tough for me because you can take Jones at 3,400 or you can take Carlos Quentin at 3,500. And I've already mentioned that I'm on some of these San Diego bats. And I think Quentin has a lot more upside than James Jones, even though he's batting probably like 140 this season. So I can see taking Jones over Quentin. So, but if I had to choose, I'd go Jones.
All right, here's your sneaky cheap guy, especially for you, Stevie, since you're doing the GPPs. Scott Hairston, 38 at-bats against Cole Hamels. He's starting for Bryce Harper tonight. In 38 at-bats, he has a 921 slugging percentage. That's pretty high. That's really high.
Baby. BVP.
He hasn't played for a while, but he's kind of a defensive replacement for the Nats. But he is in the lineup, batting 7th. Those are kind of about. That's really about it.
They play him. They play him mostly against lefties, right?
Yeah, they've kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, they platoon Harper with him now, which is a shame that you're Bryce Harper and you're getting platooned against the tougher lefties.
Well, Harper had a home run last night, but look at his stats this year. I'd be platooning him also.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anything else, or shall we roll on?
I can't remember, and you might be able to tell me, and maybe not, but the guy for San Diego that I've used him a couple times this week because he was pretty much playing at Coors, but Jake Gobert, he's 2K on DraftKings today. And I don't know if he's a righty or lefty though, and I can't remember. And like I said, I can't pull up the lineups page.
Hold on.
Maybe you can do that one for me. But
I've got it. Considering he's 1 for 1 this year against lefties, and he is actually a lefty himself.
Then never mind. Don't word anything that I just said. He probably won't even be in the lineup tonight.
There you go.
I couldn't remember if he was a lefty or righty, but if he was a righty at 2K against Mahomes, I was going to give you guys a sleeper pick, but I doubt he'll be in the lineup, and even if he does, lefty, don't do it for me.
All right. Let's do a little pick 5 here, and then we'll do rapid fire max, and then we'll get on out of here because we got a few lineups we want to set and adjust, and I'm sure people are really wanting to see how some of these earlier games finish out. We're seeing some late scoring here from Tampa Bay and some of the other teams. So, Cole Hamels or Hisashi Iwakuma bobblehead night?
Oh, man. I would probably go... Man, that's a tough one. I hate both of those guys. Hamels.
I'm going to agree begrudgingly, but I'm going to agree.
Just the upside, the K upside.
And Ks are worth 2. The wins only worth 6. I get a little nervous. Iwakuma is okay at strikeouts, but there are games where he only gets 2 or 3. So we'll go with Hamels. Adrian Beltre or Yasiel Puig?
Puig.
I will go Beltre myself.
There you go.
Andrew McCutchen or Cole Calhoun? Here it is.
You already know that answer.
It's going to be Andrew McCutchen.
No, it's going to be Cole Calhoun.
Oh, okay. There we go. No, I agree. I'd go Cole Calhoun on this one. I don't have a problem with it. I'm getting more McCutchen in on some of my cash games, but I don't have a problem with Calhoun in this one at all.
Yeah. Price aside for those two guys with the under-over in that LA-Texas game, yeah, Calhoun for me.
Josh Hamilton or Miguel Cabrera? Woo, that's an interesting pairing.
Man, 98% of the time I'd go Miggy here, so I'm gonna stick to the safe play and go Miggy.
I think you have to. Let's not get too cute. I mean, Hamilton is batting 4th in a lefty-righty matchup against a gas can pitcher, but it is Miguel Cabrera. I don't care that he is going against James Shields, but
Shields has given up more home runs to righties this season than lefties anyway. So
Robinson Cano, Billy Hamilton to finish her off here.
Cano. I'm on Morton. Morton's a ground ball pitcher. Doesn't give up a lot of home runs, even though he's in that tough ballpark. But give me. I can't think of his name. How's his name in my life?
Robinson Cano.
Cano, yes, Cano over Hamilton in that one.
All right. So to finish that off, we have Cole Calhoun. There we go.
See. It's not just me. It's the weather outside. It's pouring here in Florida. It's been raining all summer.
All right. Cole Calhoun, Cole Hamels, Adrian Beltre for me, Yasiel Puig for you, Miguel Cabrera, Robinson Cano. We'll do 10 to win 200. I need to replenish the bankroll over here. And then lastly, and Chad, if you want to fire in any questions, go right ahead. Rapid fire max. Are you ready, Stevie?
Bring it on.
It is loading. We have, different one. We have Miguel Cabrera versus Andrew McCutchen.
Oh man, I don't know. I still go Miggy. He's the most consistent hitter in baseball.
I agree, and we're going for floor on this one. Beltre or Pujols? I gotta go Pujols.
Belcher, Pujols. Yeah, Pujols. Yeah, for me too.
Shin-Soo Choo, we didn't talk about him. I have put him on a few lineups. He is I think he's 3K on FanDuel. I don't mind him in that spot at all. So Choo or Calhoun, we're definitely going Calhoun on this one, though.
Yep. Yeah, you can pretty much tell me anybody, and I would probably take Calhoun tonight. Maybe Trout aside. That's about it.
Jason Worth, Josh Hamilton. Now remember, Worth's going back. He's in his old stomping grounds in Philly. They threw a couple brushback pitches at him last night just to say hello. He's great against lefties. He is not going to be intimidated by Cole Hamels. Or you've got Josh Hamilton batting cleanup.
I'm going to take Hamilton. I like Worth tonight. I have him in quite a bit of my tournament teams, but I think the under-over in such a high-scoring game, we're looking for floor. I think Hamilton has a higher floor tonight than Worth does.
Yeah, I'm on you with that. It wouldn't shock me to see Worth hit a home run. It wouldn't shock me to see him go. Wouldn't shock me to see him go 0 for 4. I think Hamilton's going to at least get a walk and a run. So there you are with that. And then lastly, randomly, we have Andrew Romine or Zach Cozart.
Is Cozart playing?
That's a good question. Let's check that real quick.
Cozart
is batting 8th, and I don't even know who Romine plays for. They show him, excuse me, in the Yankees uniform.
He plays it for Detroit. Romine, he's batting 8th. They're both batting 8th. God, I don't know. I'm gonna take Romine. I'm going to stick to my Charlie Morton good game, and I'm going to take Romine.
I agree. So I'm not as confident on this one. I'm doing 11 for 20. I'm not going to play the rapid fire max. So.
Yeah, well, make some people some money.
All right. Sorry, I had to hit the cough button there. I'm just about out of soda here, which means I'm going to have to switch to something more adult this evening as I start the analysis for tomorrow. Finally.
Definitely hitting up some drinks after the show's over. I might even text Dan Bach and see what he's up to. I'm in Jacksonville tonight.
There you go. You probably need to get some strawberritas. I've never had a strawberrita. I don't know that I want a strawberry.
They are disgusting. Strawberrita that.
Yeah,
they're so nasty.
I draw the line at Bud Light Lime, which is my wife really likes it, so we usually have it here because we like to eat nachos and Mexican food, and we either do margaritas or Bud Light Lime, but I don't really like Bud Light Lime either. So
yeah, not for me.
Let's see. Anything else? Let's see. Chat. We must have done a great job. There really are no questions here, so we're actually going to just kind of end the show unless you have any other thoughts, Stevie. We are on tomorrow. We being myself and Warren Billsfan 777. We will be on at 11:30 tomorrow to walk you through all of the games for that slate. We still are missing the San Diego and Dodger lineup, but as soon as those are out, I will update the Bargain Bin Ballers. I'm sure you guys will see an email coming out shortly with the lineups if you haven't already given another breakdown there. And it looks like the Dodgers lineup just popped. Let's see if anything weird is in it. Ethier is back in the lineup. He's missed the last couple games, but they do have him batting 5th. I don't mind him. He's cheaper on a lot of sites. He's a functional player anytime he is in a lefty-righty matchup. That's the only surprise I see there, other than there is no shortstop. So you know what that means.
No Hanley.
No Hanley. Very sad. I wonder what his injury is, because he hasn't finished a game in probably a week. I mean, they keep pulling him in the 5th inning, the 7th inning, etc. Very odd, but you got Gordon leading off. I like him, and then Kemp's batting 4th, Puig 2nd. Well, it's not too bad of a top 5. Outside of that, they're not good. That's it for me, though. Any last thoughts?
No, just good luck tonight, guys. Hope everybody wins some money, and that's about it for me. Yeah, just stack some Angels.
All right. Well, I found out I have a little bit of soda left in this can, so that'll get me through the next 10 minutes till I head off to the store at lock time here. But I'm going to try that that shock top. I saw this in the advertised Honeycrisp apple wheat.
Oh, that's my favorite drink right now.
Is it really? Now, I'm not a fan of apple. I'm not a fan of the cider drinks, but something's telling me this is going to be more like a beer than a cider. Is that true?
It is more like a beer. It isn't. It doesn't give you the cider taste. It's like a good wheat beer with a little bit of apple taste. And my favorite beer right now. I just absolutely love that stuff.
Well, there you go. So I'm gonna go get some of that. And 2 weekends ago, my wife and I went to a beer, like a beer festival. And they had a few of the major breweries, but most of them were kind of from the Midwest, Colorado, and then the Mid-Atlantic. And but Budweiser was there, so of course they have their shock top tent. They have one that is something in pretzel, and it actually tastes when you sip it like you had a little bite of pretzel, which I found was interesting. So even though it's a Budweiser product, it sounds like you enjoy this, but hey, maybe they're branching out a little bit. So I guess don't knock it. I can't be mad at Budweiser. They're in St. Louis, and our buddies, our St. Louis pals, did the show this morning. So got to give them a little shout out since I was giving them so much crap in the chat all show.
There's one Chalk Top that I tried. It's like a bourbon. It says something bourbon, and I can't remember, but it was disgusting. So note to you people out there, I'm a beer drinker, and I say it's nasty. It's probably nasty.
I will not have that. That must be some abomination that they have put together in Nashville, the home of Jack Daniels. But with that reminds me that we are keeping Amber from having some fun tonight. So we are going.
Fine.
So we are going to sign off and let her get off to her day. So with that, thank you, Roto Grinders. Thank you, DraftKings. Thank you, Stevie. Thank you, Amber. See you guys tomorrow. Good luck, gamers.
You hit end on your end, and she ends it on her end.
Okay. All right. Chat with you later.
See you, man.